Hey, you, I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate your time. Thank you for rocking with me. Thank you for pressing play. I don't take that lightly. I honor that. And I'm going to bring the energy today. This is something that might be taken out of context. So I want to start off by saying this. I believe in teamwork. Okay, we got that out the way. I truly believe in teamwork. I'm hired to help teams build. I've been a part of teams my whole life. I believe in teamwork, okay? So we got that out the way. But I want to talk about something that I haven't heard talked about often. And I'm like, why haven't people touched on this? Maybe because it's not popular, because it's not the right thing to say. But the truth is that it needs to be talked about because more people experience teamwork in this way than they do the other way. And I'll go ahead and say it. Like, teamwork makes the dream work if the team is right. And oftentimes, the team isn't right. Let's be real. And the dream never works out because the team isn't right. But we always are talking about team, which is necessary in a journey, which is necessary in building success. I should say necessary, an important part, because you can build something great by yourself. As long as you got the right support system, as long as you got the right community, it might not reach the potential it could reach if you had a team, but you can create something legendary by yourself. That's facts. Teamwork makes the dream work when everybody on the team is working. And oftentimes, everybody on the team ain't working. And so I want to tell you this, like, collaboration, because I believe we live in a culture that we're so quick to collaborate, which is super dope, by the way. It's super dope to want to work with somebody. It's super dope to put your pride and ego aside. But most times the pride and ego isn't put aside. And that's the problem. And so we're so quick to collaborate in this culture, but I want to present this idea to you that I know is true for some of you. Collaboration isn't the best thing for your elevation. I'm going to repeat that. Collaboration isn't always the best thing for your elevation. And what I think happens is we allow our insecurities, we allow the fear of missing out, we allow our hunger for opportunity to make us collaborate so quick without a process. We do no due diligence. We don't go through a process. So I would ask you right now, like, what's your process in critiquing collaborations? Right? Like, what's your process when a collaboration comes to you or somebody wants to work for you or with you or for you, whatever it may be, somebody wants to partner with you, right? Somebody wants you to be a part of their team. What's your process that helps you evaluate if that is good for your journey or not? Most people don't have one. And most people fall for three things. They fall for the presentation. Well, if the presentation is right, let me tell you this right now. The presentation is always going to be right. When somebody wants you, they're going to present to you what I call best case scenario. We'll talk about that in a second. They're going to present to you the best. Not always the real. They're going to present to you what they think you want to hear. I remember when I was getting recruited for college football, every single coach told me what I wanted to hear because they knew if they told me the truth, I probably wouldn't come to that school. So you got to understand, like, presentation can lie. Just because it's presented right doesn't mean it's right. Number two, pressure. Don't fall for the pressure. What a lot of people are going to try to do to you, they're going to try to put pressure on you to make a decision and say, listen, man, you got to make the decision by next week. We don't have that much time. Like, there's a small window for opportunity. And that might be true, but people are trying to pressure you so you don't go through your process and you put yourself in a situation without actually working through that situation and helping yourself make the best decision. That happened to me before. There's a very famous person, I'm not going to say their name, but they wanted to work with me. And they hit me with, hey, you need to hurry up and make a decision because I don't wait. And I said, well, I take my time. I'm out the country right now. I'm about to put myself in a life-changing decision. And I'm going to take, 24 hours to decide. So I need a week. I need to talk to people around me. I need to talk to my mom and my dad. I need to talk to my team and see if this is right. And I need to talk to God. And the dude told me, well, God already told me that this is it. And I want to say this off top. My mother taught me this, God bless her soul. You need to be very careful when somebody is telling you what God told them about you. And listen, yes, there are cases where that's true. God will speak through people to deliver the message to you. But when it comes to business, don't allow people to say, well, God told me this is it. Did God tell you that? Because I was like, God didn't tell me that. He might have told you, but until God gives me that confirmation, I need to wait a little bit till I receive that confirmation because I haven't received the same confirmation that you got. So don't allow people to pressure you into making decisions that are life-changing and life-altering. Number 3, don't fall for the potential of a situation because the potential can look huge. Like, man, if this got together, if we did this, man, look what we could do. And the idea of that is awesome. It's incredible. But the reality of actually reaching that is slim. And I'm just keeping it straight up with you. It's slim. And a lot of us, what we do is we fall for the potential of something. We look at what it could be, and we don't actually like go through a process of thinking about like, what's the percentage, what's the chance of that actually becoming it? And we fall in love with potential. And last but not least, stop allowing perfection to fool you. Perfection will fool you. I always say, if it looks good, too good to be true, it probably is. And that's why it's important to give it time because true colors will always show. But you ain't going to see true colors if you are rushing the process and making decisions without going through your process. And so I want to tell you that like those 3 things or 4 things are very important. And I want to give you 3 more that the mistakes that I've made, that a lot of people make, that I don't want you to make when it comes to collaboration. And understand this, like when I say don't let people sell you a dream, there's going to be some people that are going to tell you this, man, you're the missing piece to the puzzle. And you start thinking like, man, I'm the missing piece? Cool. You start feeling good about yourself. And then you get in a situation, and I've been here before, where you realize they ain't even got no puzzle. You are the puzzle. You ain't the missing piece. You are the puzzle. You're the everything. They have nothing going on, but they told you you were the missing piece. You thinking that they got something going on, and you get over there and realize over time that they ain't got nothing going on. They just sold you a dream. They sold you an idea. And what you did was you shrunk yourself to fit into a role. And this might seem very arrogant, but it's true. Sometimes you aren't meant to be a role player. You're meant to be the superstar. Especially in your own world. You see this happen in sports. Old girl from LSU, the little point guard. She was a beast the year before. And then she went to LSU and she fit into a role and she wasn't the same because she was meant to be the one. She was meant to be the superstar. And she didn't know how to adjust to that. So she lost confidence. She lost herself. And it happens not just in sports. It happens in business too. So don't let people convince you that you some role player in their system where you can be the superstar in your own. Okay, mistake number 1 that we make when it comes to collaboration. Number 1, we fall in love with the best case scenario and we don't address the worst case scenario. Do not fall in love with what it looks like on paper. Have you ever seen a team like the Lakers? On paper, they look great. They like, oh my gosh, or a football team, they sign all these people in the offseason. They look great on paper, and it never works out because ego, pride, they aren't meant to be a team, right? It looks good on paper, but they aren't meant to be the team. The best team isn't always the best people, the best players. The best team is the team that learns how to be the best team. To let go of ego, to let go of pride, to understand who the superstars are, to fit people in the right positions. That's what makes a powerful team. And what happens when we make mistakes with collaboration, we look at the best case scenario and we never address the worst. One of the things that I do is I ask people, listen, I know that's the best case scenario, but I want to talk about 2 things. Number 1, what if it's better than the best case scenario? So what if we're collaborating and, one person takes off? For example, what if you start a podcast? And you start the podcast just because you want to start the podcast, but then one person starts getting more attention than the other. Uh-oh, what's going to happen? You start the business and one person just seems to be making it happen more than the other. What's going to happen in that case? Emotions get involved. Envy gets involved. What's going to happen then? Nobody wants to address that, right? Nobody wants to have the hard conversations until they get into hard times. Why? Have the hard conversations at first. Get an understanding at first. So when you get to that place, the understanding is already there, right? You already agreed on some things. It's already there. Don't wait till you get there to try to find the understanding because then it's hard. Then everybody's ego and pride's involved. It's hard. And so number 1, I always ask people, okay, what if it's better than the best case? What's going to happen then? And number 2, I think even the more important question in this is, Let's talk about the worst case scenario. What if it's the worst case scenario? What if we start something and it doesn't work out? What if we collab and we fail miserably? What's going to happen then? Nobody talks about that. And so the mistake that we make is we go into a collaboration with best case scenario. And when the worst case scenario shows up, we don't know what to do. We clash, we fall out, we beef with each other online, we talk about each other, and now a friendship is ruined, and now you don't even talk no more, okay? So don't make mistake number one. Number two, we're always taking one for the team. I want to say this quote, and it might sound wrong to say, but I'm going to say it. Taking one for the team isn't always the best action to take, okay? Especially when that team is not taking one for you. In the sports world, we always say, take one for the team, take one for the team, or even in friendships, take one for the team. In business, take one for the team. And what that means is that you lessen yourself for the team, which is necessary at times. Sacrifice is necessary to build something legendary. But the question is, in you lessening yourself, are other people in that team, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 100 people, whatever it may be, are they willing to go by that same commitment? And I see a lot of people that will continue to take one for the team for a team that wouldn't take one for them. That's happened to me in business where I've took one for the team financially, where I say, you know what? Don't worry about paying me this. I'm going to take one for the team. I know you guys will take care of me down the road. Let's use this money y'all would pay me and reinvest in the business. And then when we got to the worst case scenario, guess who got the short end of the stick? Me. Guess who wasn't taken care of? Me. Guess who the team wouldn't take one for? Me, right? And so I realized, like, man, taking one for the team is sometimes a form of manipulation that people will use against you to use you. So no, don't take one for the team that ain't willing to take one for you. That's a mistake that we make in collaboration. Number 3, okay? Collaboration is the best thing for elevation. That's a mistake that we make and that we say. Collaboration can be, right? We hope that it will be, but collaboration isn't always the best thing for your elevation, because sometimes when you collaborate, as we said earlier, you fit into this role, you lessen yourself. And if you're like me, I made the mistake of lowering myself and, really not being everything that I was, lowering my talent, lowering my gift because I didn't want to take all the shine. I wanted to lift other people up around me. And what happened was I lost my gift. I lost my voice. I lost the thing that made me special. And then you start to deal with conflict. You start to deal with problems. You start to deal with stress, right? You start taking on unnecessary stress. And when you have stress, success is very hard to come by because your creativity suffers. Your focus suffers. The list goes on. Those things suffer. So sometimes collaboration isn't always the best for your elevation. You got to know the season. Sometimes you're in a season of you where you got to put in the work on yourself, and you might meet somebody that's doing the same things as you, and you have no idea who this person is. You might have met him at a conference or met her at a conference, and you're like, oh, we're in the same area. Let's work together. And sometimes that works. Sometimes you have a unicorn collaboration and it works, but most times it doesn't work because you don't even know that person. You don't know how that person is in business. You don't know how that person handle pressure. You don't know how that person deals with the worst times, the worst case scenarios. You don't know that person's history. You don't know none of that. And the only thing you said, it was right because you guys had the same kind of idea or in the same field. And you make that mistake, and then now you have a lot of stress. Now you got to deal with a lot of things you didn't have to deal with if you were just focused on going at your own pace, right? Don't rush the process. Trust the process. And some of your processes should be solo. Not all of them. It should be solo until the right case scenario, not even the best, the right scenario, the right collaboration shows itself, right? Collaborations are beautiful. They're awesome when they're done right. So don't make these mistakes, man. Don't feel pressured. Don't rush. Don't feel guilty. Don't let people make you feel like you need them, because oftentimes the people that make you feel like you need them, they really need you. That's some free game right there. The people that really try to make you feel like you need them, they really need you, because the people that you don't need, They probably ain't even worried about you. They'll probably give an opportunity. They'll tell you some real facts. And if you don't accept it, whatever it may be, they just go move on. They don't put any pressure on you. The people that I've collabed with the most that has been special, that's been beautiful, you know what? They never put pressure on me. They just say, I want to see you win. They were really bringing to my life more than I could ever give them because they truly believed in me. And that built the trust because you know what? I said, man, I want to give back the same type of energy back to that person. And it was never no ego. It was never no competition. It was just like, how can we help elevate each other? How can we help elevate this mission? And when you're collaborating on those terms, it's powerful. But don't feel like you have to collaborate in order to be successful. But like I said in every single video, it all starts with you. What I need you to do is hit the notification bell, make sure you subscribe, and listen, share this with somebody because there's somebody out there right now that's about to collab with somebody that's about to be their worst nightmare. And this could prevent them from doing that. It's rehab time. Let's get it.